Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the Furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 12, episode 2, and today we play our first game of our second season in the Premier League, and it couldn't be a much harder test as we play the defending champions Manchester City. Managed by Zinedine Zidane and littered with world-class talent, it's going to be a very difficult task for us as we're playing our first game in our new temporary stadium. If you don't know the reasons for that, and you don't want any spoilers as to our transfer window, please do go back and check out the last episode. I'll put a link in the eye above. We had a big summer transfer special. There were plenty of outs, including a couple we had to say a lengthy thank you and goodbye to, and we also had a couple of ins, some big money signings too, so it certainly is worth checking out if you want to know all the names in our lineup today. But for those of you that have seen the transfer special already, you'll have met our new signings and know that they're going to be in the lineup today. They're going to be instrumental signings for us this year, and we look forward to them making a big difference. We've also got to meet a new tactic as our summer signings have allowed us to go back to our preferred formation rather than an asymmetric one, which I'm not a huge fan of. Last season it did serve us well and we can go back to it if need be, but I'd like to stick with a more traditional formation and just tweak the tactical instructions instead. So let's go and meet the aforementioned tactic that we'll be lining up with against Manchester City today. It's a far more traditional 4-3-3, two wingers in natural positions, two standard central midfielders, both high quality new signings that we spent 2/3 of our budget on for the summer. Our other big money signings on the bench for this game, as he's not quite reached match fitness for the season yet, and it's obviously a position we've got incredible strength in, as Jimmy Lindstrom's a good signing on the right. He is adapting to that attacking midfield role, which he wasn't comfortable in last year. He's now marked accomplished in that position, and hopefully after a good season where he keeps training on it off the pitch, he'll be in a good position to take over there next year should we lose our wonder kid Hernan Air. But in essence, we've not changed a great deal. We've obviously pushed the right winger forward and the other central midfielder back, though we've still got Allingham at the club, and Lindstrom's obviously natural in midfield, as is Nico Williams on the right, so if we do need to change it back and we're struggling, we're certainly able to do that. But the lads have been training in this most of pre-season. They've been getting good results in the friendlies as well. If we go and take a look, we've had some low quality opposition, but against Nice in the last game of July, probably the highest quality opponent we faced, we managed to get a good away win in France. So we've got a 100% unbeaten record in pre-season. We've been putting in goals for fun against non-league sides, but today it's a much sterner test against Manchester City, one of the best sides in world football. The other slight tactical tweaks we've made, rather than big huge changes across the board, is we've changed our anchor man in defensive midfield with Ben Foster leaving the club into a defensive midfielder on defend. It just allows the player to get a bit more involved technically and lay the two playmakers in central midfield off. So Vladimir, the young Czech midfielder, he's going to be fulfilling that role at the start, although we've still got Rowan McDonald if we need to go back to a more experienced pro. Our back five's entirely unchanged. The only reason it's not the usual lineup today is because Bedger's out with a slight knock. He'll be back for the second game of the season, so we won't have any worries there. And Stevie Maxwell, our first choice keeper, unfortunately he's thrown a bit of a tantrum. It's because we wouldn't let him discuss the terms with Burnley, who obviously qualified for Europe last season. But aside from that, there's no real shocks. We're going to stay on a positive mentality even against the big sides this year, as we've got two good central midfielders who can hopefully start to dominate possession. If we do go for an overhaul next summer, again we're going to stick with this approach of just adding 2 or 3 quality players. I think holding midfield's a position we've got to look at, and probably left back the season after too, although Lonergan Irwin surprised us once before, so why can't he improve again this year? It's the only position of the team we haven't really got great cover. We're brilliant on the right hand side, but with Irwin and Kozzel starting on the left, we've only got Adam Lewis covering the 2 positions, although the wonder kid Hernan Air can cover on the left as well, as can Lee Rutherford and Bobby Duncan. So we have got options there if need be, but it just leaves us one member short in the squad. But aside from that, I can have no real complaints, as we've had a brilliant summer in the transfer window. We've got a lot of Deadwood and Championship players out of the club, as well as some of the youngsters that didn't quite make it, and to bring in around 25 million's a wonderful achievement, recouping almost half of the money we spent in total. But let's get into this first game of the season. Let me know what you think of the tactic. Is it what you were expecting to see? We'd pretty much much hinted to it towards the end of last season, but obviously seeing it in the flesh, were you expecting anything different? We're playing against the champions, who are obviously heavy favourites for the game, but they've got a few players out and doubtful, so maybe we'll be able to give them a good match. Let's go and have a look at our lineup though. The one change I'm going to make, the new signing Suzuki, the centre half, we've got to get him onto the bench, mainly because we're missing Beja and we don't have any options on the bench. He can play in the holding role as well, so I think we may have to take out either the youngster Probert or one of our backup wingers. I think for this game it may be Adam Lewis, as we've got the likes of Duncan and Air who can play on the left. So we're going to bring Suzuki onto the bench and then we're going to swap him with Ross Taylor. So Suzuki starts the game, Ross Taylor the sub centre half. We mentioned in the last episode that Suzuki's a model citizen. He's got the perfect personality for mentoring. So in the next episode we're going to focus on that and how he's trying to help Ray Probert, the youngster who came through in our youth intake 2 years ago. But the lineup for today is pretty much as you'd expect. Just the two new central midfielders. The rest of the team were all here last year, aside from Suzuki, who we've mentioned already. We've got Maxwell in goal, who hopefully won't let his unhappiness affect him. If he wants to get a big move in the future, he still needs to perform on the pitch. They're not interested in him at the moment, so he's got to make them interested again by performing to the very best of his ability. We've got Cisse and Lonergan-Irwin at fullback, Suzuki and Leclerc in the middle, Vladimir's in the holding role, Hayes and Lappin in the middle, the two new signings combining, and once they gel and forge a good relationship, I think they're going to be one of the best combinations in the league. We've got Lindstrom in the more advanced winger role to last season, with Kozel in his usual role on the left, and then Lee Rutherford continues to spearhead our attack, a brilliant signing for $3.5 million. He's now worth 16.25 and he's going to be a sensational player, so hopefully he can have yet another good season and get to double figures in the league. If he manages to do that, I'm sure we'll stay up, but let's get into the game today and see if we can avoid embarrassment against the champions. It was Dimitri Lappin who needed the squad number. He's been given number 14, the lowest available aside from the sub-keeper number. It's a 4-2-3-1 for Manchester City. Mane was doubtful for this game, but he is playing in the number 10 role, so he could be absolutely exceptional. They've got Parrott up front, who's their star man. Let's go and have a look at him. He's a brilliant Irish striker, been playing for Tottenham, Wolves and Villa, and now he's at Manchester City, earning 170 grand a week. A brilliant striker, and he's going to be hard to contain, so Suzuki's got his work cut out on his debut. There's no debutants in the team for City, remarkably. I guess why change a winning team? So maybe today they'll be off the pace slightly and we'll be able to take advantage of that. I wouldn't bank on it though. Stuart Jelling wants us to encourage the lads and fingers crossed we can go out and cause an upset. Leclerc's gained confidence, but everyone else is just listening keenly, so hopefully they won't get overrun in the first half of the match. Let's get into the game. We've got a tunnel interview to deal with. Paul Williams is an elite striker who's missing out, but I'm sure they've got plenty of good replacements, particularly Parrott and Mane, who we've looked at in previous episodes. Here's Lappin from Rutherford's kickoff, and he finds Vladimir to Suzuki. He gets it to Hayes, who's out to Kozel, and all three new players get their first touch of the match. Kozel gets it into Lindstrom, it's overhit slightly, Cisse delivers a ball into the box, but Ederson rises above Rutherford. He comfortably claims that one. 3 minutes gone, we had the first cross of the match, but we're yet to see a shot from either side. Half an hour gone, we're yet to see a highlight. We come back for a Venturini free kick for Man City, 25 yards out on the right, but he couldn't get enough whip on it as the ball goes into the side netting. We're back with Mane, as City are getting on top now. Apparently we've had the only shot on target of the match, but we certainly didn't see it in a highlight. Here's Hayes coming forward though as Rutherford starts the counter. He gets it to Kozel on the left, Lindstrom's at the back post, brilliant header from the winger. Ederson perhaps should have done better. He had his head in his hand, so he looked a bit disappointed, but the ball goes in off the keeper and the bar. What a fantastic first half. A smash and grab on the counter. Our first real good attacking highlight, although Parrott's now at the other end and he finds Venturini. A brilliant shot from the edge for him, and that lead was certainly short-lived. Venturini equalises with City's first shot on target. 5 minutes to the break, it remains 1-1, and let's be honest, at the start of the game we wouldn't have been too disappointed with that. It's 1-1 at half time. It's been a really boring game, to be honest. We've not seen much in terms of highlights, but that suits us down to the ground, and if we could go a second half without any at all, we'd be absolutely delighted at full time. Again, we've got the giant inflatable football. That's at Bournemouth's ground, so they're obviously having a good time. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be used for. Let's go and talk to the lads, remind them that the pressure's off, even though he didn't ask us to stay that at the start of the game. We're going to tell them to give the fans a good performance, despite there not being any pressure on us. Apologies again for the spacebar whack, if you did hear that and you're wearing headphones, but we've got the ball back with Cisse Cisse at right back as the highlight ends at the start of the second half. It's a corner for Manchester City. De Ligt on the end of it, Parrott nods just over. What a brilliant set of players they've got there. De Ligt must be an absolute world beater now. Arthur crosses the ball in, Suzuki nods away. He's had a decent debut so far, though the two central midfielders have struggled to dominate possession. City have had nearly 2/3 of the ball, as you'd probably expect, although Leclerc's defending brilliantly here from the crosses, though Alonso shoots just wide from 20 yards. We have no idea who these players are, as almost all of them are regens. Obviously De Ligt and Arthur are the only two that aren't, and Parrott, who we looked at pre-game. Venturini with a free kick. City lead now. What a brilliant strike from the man. He must be world class. I'm pretty sure we've looked at him in a previous episode. Two absolutely stunning goals, and with an hour gone, City lead 2-1, but it's two fabulous strikes from a world class player. A lot of our lads are nervous, and I'm not quite sure why, so we're just going to encourage them and hope it has a good effect. As Suzuki goes long over the top, it's a poor ball straight into Ederson's arms. A quarter of the game to go. City have had better chances, but they've only had 2 shots on target in the match, and both of them the screaming goals from Venturini. Leclerc goes back to Maxwell. Can we build another attack and nick an equaliser? Obviously the last game we played at home to City was a crazy 5-4 victory, but obviously this time we're not at our natural home ground, and it's a little bit difficult when we've travelled 100 miles to get here. Parrott has a shot from the edge of the box. It's deflected off Suzuki behind for a corner, and with a quarter of the game to go, we'll see out this highlight, and then we'll think about some changes. The corner's overhit by Arthur. It goes to Alonso at the back post, and Vladimir commits a silly foul on him, which gives City another chance from a set piece. It's Venturini on the edge of the box, another free kick, just wide of the post this time. He's been so dangerous, and basically a one-man team today. Let's go and make some changes as we're into the final 20. Lappin's been a bit nervous on his debut. He's not had the best of games, so we're going to bring on the youngster Ray Probert, as we've got to give him opportunities this season, and it's unlikely we're going to get back into the game. Lonergan Irwin at left back, he struggled a little bit, though I'm not quite sure what I can do to replace him, as we haven't got many options on that side of the pitch, so he's going to stay on for now. We are going to take off a couple of others though. Lee Rutherford's going to be replaced by Bobby Duncan, just to see if he can nick a goal up front, and then with 10 minutes to go we will bring on Hernan Air for his debut, probably at the expense of Kozul based on his performance. 15 minutes to go, we're back into the game. The double substitution's been made, and Lindstrom's defending on the right hand side. Alonso gets a shot from the edge of the box for City, but it's just wide of the post, and now we've got a long throw with Cisse. He tricks everyone by going short to Probert. The sub finds Cisse again. De Ligt heads away as far as the edge of the box, and Hayes gets it back out to Cisse. Into the back post is nodded away, and Lindstrom delivers again. A bit of concerted pressure at last, but Mane's getting the ball away for City. A world-class player on the counter. He finds Venturini on the right. Mane again into our opposition half. He finds Alonso. Mane again to Bentley. The space is opening up now, and Bentley puts it just wide of the post, though I think Stevie Maxwell had it covered. Just over 10 minutes to go. We're going to take Kozul off. He's struggling for fitness. He's not had the best game either. Hernan Air's going to make his debut on the left. He can play in any role because he is a two-footed player, so we're just going to leave him as a winger on support for now. Let's get back into it and see if we can nick just one chance at getting an equaliser. We've demanded more from the lads and we're back with a throw. Just 6 minutes to go. Air finds Vladimir, who gets it into Hayes. Probert's been losing possession in the middle of the pitch. You'd expect it from the youngster, but a brilliant tackle to get it back just a few seconds later. It's gone to Ottenorff on the left though. Venturini with the header, smashes the post as the keeper dives down to his left, and it falls for him luckily on the rebound, and he completes a hat-trick. He's single-handedly beaten us today. Let's go and take a quick look at him. He's been an absolutely sensational player. He's an elite attacking midfielder who's brilliant on the right and in the centre. I'd love to have a player of that quality play for us one day, but it doesn't look like we're going to get the opportunity. And Lonergan Irwin, we can understand him having a poor game, as he's been marking that guy all day. Cisse's got a free kick as Ottenorff gets a booking, but with 5 minutes to go, unfortunately it's game over. We are just going to drop to a balanced mentality. We don't want it to become 4 or 5, as it's really not been deserved based on the play. Though Hayes gets in and changed the tone, we're going back to positive. James Hayes on his debut. Bobby Duncan with a brilliant bit of link-up play, holds the ball up front, waits for Hayes to run off him, lays it into his path and a brilliant composed finish. Venturini at the other end puts a free kick wide, and with 1 minute plus stoppage time to go, we're going to go very attacking. Let's tell the lads to push forward, though City have a corner now. Maxwell punches well, but only as far as Mane. He's got it on the right hand side for City, the cross is blocked away, but the pressure continues as City get possession. De Ligt has the ball on halfway. Suzuki heads away, he gets it as far as Dude. Don't remember he was the player who we were trying to sign last season. City ended up stealing him from us in January as we couldn't afford him last summer. Ottenorth with the cross is blocked out for a corner, and City are seeing the game out very professionally. There's 5 minutes added on, so I wouldn't rule us out getting one more chance just yet, but as City deliver the ball into the box, Leclerc heads away and we're still defending. Right, we're back with just a minute of stoppage time to go. It's Maffeo and Venturini keeping it on the right. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get anything out of the game, despite running City really close. Here's Dude on the ball to Maffeo. Vladimir's won it back brilliantly on halfway. Can we create one more chance? As the ball goes out for a throw-in with just 30 seconds left. We're throwing everyone forward. Fingers crossed we get a chance, but I wouldn't bet on it as City have been really professional, and I think they're going to hang on for the 3 points. A really good debut from Hayes, who's now taken over as the captain as well. Duncan's getting in behind but doesn't quite get there, and Venturini brings the ball away. He finds Mane and a final whistle goes. It's a 3-2 defeat at home to City, but we really put up a good fight, and there's plenty of promising signs for the season there if we've played against the best team in the league already. One man won the game for them, a brilliant free kick, a screamer from the edge of the box, and then a lucky rebound to complete his hat-trick. We played really well, we competed and had more shots on target, and that tells you everything in the stats. City won 3-2 with 2 shots on target. Let's talk to the lads and tell them what we thought. We should say we appreciate their efforts. Stuart Jellin spot on. It was a really pleasing performance and we deserve something out of the game. Despite City having lots of shots and possession, they didn't really create any clear-cut chances. Hayes made his debut and had a fantastic game. We'll go and praise him off camera in a minute, as we'll deal with the press conference too. But let's go and look at the Premier League table. Obviously, as it was the early kick-off, we are now second bottom of the league, joining Arsenal, who were beaten by United on the Friday night, but there is promising signs and I think we're going to be absolutely fine this year, even basing it on just that one game. With our start against City and then Arsenal, we always knew it was going to be a difficult start to the season. We'll have to play our reserves in the cup games again. We're not going to focus on that this year, but if we can get a slightly stronger squad in for next season and replace those last few long-term players, the likes of Duncan and McDonald for example, I think at that point we can start to focus on cups. If we can get some trophies then great. We'd love to win everything with Torquay, but even if we just win a Carabao Cup, it's something extra special for us. So obviously the transfer window shuts before the season now, so there won't be any more action from transfers, but we are going to have plenty of important games coming up. We may well still be in the Carabao Cup. We have got a slightly better backup team than last year, so with a few lucky draws we could reach the latter stages, but we're going to leave it a few games now. The early stages of the Premier League season are always a little bit disjointed, as we have the international break every month, so we are going to leave it till the start of October and come back for that Liverpool game on the 7th. It should be a really cracking match. We've got a brilliant opportunity to climb up the league with some good games in September, and if we can get on a good run we may well be in mid-table by then, or we'll find out if we're going to suffer from second season syndrome. I hope not with the signings we've made and with the performances our players put in today, and hopefully the slightly more traditional tactic will help too, but we're not going to know that for a few games yet. But if you did enjoy this episode and that brilliant spirited performance against City, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you thought of the new signings in their first game. Hayes in particular looked very special, although the other two lads were a little bit nervous, though we didn't see too much of Hearn and Air. Of course, let me know what you think of the new tactic, and as always after the first game of the season, where do you think we're going to finish this year? You've seen the lads over 90 minutes against the best side in the league, so although we're in the relegation zone after one game, let me know where you think we're going to be at the end of the year. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories, this one part of the furniture with Torquay United, and then our Journeyman series, The Head Coach. We've just started a new season in that one as well. We're 2 episodes in, so if you haven't seen that that one yet, then do go back and check it out. We'll be back on Thursday with this one, as we'll have more action from Torquay United, as well as playing Liverpool. We'll show you the mentoring groups, especially now we have a model citizen in Suzuki. There's also weekly content from my Snooker 19 career every Friday at 4:30, and there was a bonus episode at midday yesterday as we had a bank holiday weekend. And then later this week we'll have a brand new career mode from Cricket 19, the official game of the Ashes. That game's come out today as this episode's released, so expect to see plenty of content over the next couple of weeks. As well as that, we'll still have the daily FM19 content, so loads of videos on the channel in the next few weeks, and I hope you'll enjoy watching them as much as I'm enjoying making them. But a massive thanks for watching and your continued support as always. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time for a big game against Liverpool, as well as a focus on our mentoring groups.